At this moment, in a magnificent palace that is located on top of the mountains, My head hurts. Inyu woke up, and her intoxication subsided. She remembered toasting Guchanga, and he also reciprocated with respect. Then she passed out and needed help. Still in bed, she was already half naked in her half-night dress. She immersed herself in the conversation with Guchanga. It's so embarrassing to get drunk in front of outsiders. Guchanga, he is different from what I imagined. I originally thought he was an unreasonable, vicious, and cunning person. Phew, I probably didn't say any nonsense in front of him when I was drunk, right? Inyu breathed a sigh of relief. Suddenly the door burst open, and Ing Shuang, who had come to visit with a bowl of medicinal soup after knowing his sister got drunk, said, Inyu, this is the sobering elixir soup I just made. Inyu, noticing her brother, Ing Shuang, near the doorway, covered her body with blanket. With a straightened expression, she asked him, why didn't you knock on the door before you entered? Holding the soup in his hand, Ing Shuang responded lightly, I had never knocked on the door before, and he pondered, what is it? Why is she acting like this? This stupid sister used to be obedient, and Inyu asked, brother, what is the matter? He came forward to give her the soup and said, I heard from Agu last night. Agu is the black man with horns on his head, their follower. What happened in the pavilion, that idiot, Guchanga, actually thought that it was your words and deeds that caused the public outrage. Inyu, taking the soup from his brother, who sat in front of her, said, indeed, it was my fault that almost caused the entire Heavenly Emperor Mountain to get into danger and change the good public opinion about it. Her brother, handing over the soup, replied annoyingly, nonsense. According to my intuition, there must be something wrong with Guchanga, and he set a trap for you. How could you? She interrupted him, and sipping the soup, she said, brother, after my contact with Mr. Gu this time, I feel that the demonic inheritance incident with the Heavenly Emperor Mountain might have been plotted by outsiders. Guchanga, who was involved in this matter, was probably being used. Ing Shuang's complexion became angry. He abruptly stood up and answered her, Mr. Gu. What kind of ecstasy was given to you by him? Are you really talking about Guchanga? Don't you know how Guchanga manipulated me behind the scenes? Then he grabbed the bowl from her hands and said, stop drinking. After all, this only sobers up the drunkenness but not the mind. Inyu was taken aback, her eyes widened, and her expression became that of a child who had lost her candy. Her brother continued, from now on, don't go out without my permission, and don't meet that Guchanga. The door was shut with a loud noise. Inyu looked at her brother, who left in frustration, didn't say anything, and was suspicious of her brother. The pattern of his words and deeds seemed really different from before. In a lofty pavilion, Wang Wushang replied hesitantly, elder sister, don't be angry. Wang Zijin, standing and looking out of the window, turned to him and said, I told you not to use the amulet I gave you unless it was an emergency. Now seeing him safe and sound, she warned him, if you don't give me a sufficient reason, I will let you know why the flowers are red in a moment. Then she thought of her encounter with Jiang Chuchu before. Wang Zijin and Jiang Chuchu could be regarded as close friends. They cared for each other. Wang Zijin pondered that woman. Jiang Chuchu didn't know what kind of medicine she took. She was so angry, and she recalled her conversation with her, baby. Wang Zijin called her, but Jiang Chuchu, with a question mark face, asked, you want to eat, drink, and have fun at home. How did you come to see me? Wang Zijin, with a face full of smiles, replied, oh, baby, I missed you so much. Actually, she wanted to ask Jiang Chuchu something about the matter regarding the inheritor of the demonic arts. By the way, recently you have been running around outside. Did you find any clues about the inheritor of the demonic arts? Hearing that, Jiang Chuchu gritted her teeth, and seeing this, Wang Zijin asked, it seems like things are not going well from your expression, right? And she continued, speaking curiously, I heard you went to meet the Gu family's young master, Guchanga, many times. What about it? Is this person that interesting? She teased her. Jiang Chuchu, who was already annoyed, upon mentioning Guchanga's name, her expression frozen at least 100 times colder than before, and veins bulged on her forehead due to anger. With the speed of light, she immediately rushed off to enter the Heavenly Yin battlefield. This made Wang Zijin sad and helpless. This was when she noticed that Wang Wushang used the life-saving amulet she gave him, and she decided to come to Wushang's aid. Wang Wushang was afraid of being blamed by his sister, so he hurriedly explained, But sister, you are the one who asked to use the amulet if there was an emergency, and wait for you to come in person." At this moment, Wang Zijin fumed with anger. "You idiot! Emergency means when your life is in danger, and I will come to save you. Do you understand the usage of amulets? They are very precious. Do you think they are like mobile phones?" Wu Shan, with a sad expression, replied, "Aha, that was urgent though. Didn't you tell me that I should inform you ASAP if there was any news about young Master Chang'e? He also came to Nanshengshan, and he asked me to tell you that he was looking for you. That's why I activated the amulet to tell you this." Gu Chang'e, hearing this, Wang Zijin's facial expressions changed. She became interested and stopped blaming Wang Wushang. Instead, she patted on his shoulders. "You did a good job this time." Sister is very pleased. With this unexpected change of her attitude made Wushang dumbfounded, and his mind went blank. Then Wang Zijin spoke with a smile. "Okay, then. Tell Gu Chang'e that I will wait for him here." Within a very vast, remote mountain range, profound heaven, two figures suddenly appeared in the sky and set foot on the barren soil. It turns out that this is the entrance to Heavenly Yin battlefield. "If you don't pay attention, you cannot find it," Gu Chang'e said, raising his eyebrows, and with a puzzled expression, Zijin folded her hands and looked at him with a faint smile on her face. She replied, "There's more than one such entrance, but unfortunately, few people know about it now. By the way, Brother Gu came to me just to find out the entrance to the Yin battlefield." Gu Chang'e smiled slightly as he replied, "I thought that since the human ancestor could stop Yin Tian's existence, then, as a descendant, Miss Zijin must know how to enter the Yin battlefield. I also want to enter the Xinxian Academy as soon as possible." Zijin, with a slight discontent, said, "It took too much time to find this entrance. Don't you even say a word of thanks?" Gu Chang'e forced a smile with embarrassment and said, "Indeed, I'm very thankful to Miss Zijin." However, Zijin smiled, unmoved, and continued, "Brother Gu's thank you is so perfunctory, it doesn't seem sincere to me." Gu Chang'e's smiling eyes narrowed slightly, and he said, "It was my negligence. How does Miss Zijin want Gu to thank her?" Wang Zijin slightly bent close to him, with a smile and widened eyes. She replied, "How about you become my man? Pledge yourself to me." Gu Chang'e, suddenly taken aback with her request, as he stepped away from her, he said in a Mr. Nice Guy tone, "No way, I already have a fiancée. If she hears what you say, she may kill both of us. I hope you reconsider what you want to ask." He was indirectly giving a hint. "First, you take my wife's permission. If she agrees, there is no problem. I can become your man too." She asked with a thoughtful expression, "You look like a scumbag. It's weird. I did not expect you to be such a serious and upright person. Then why don't you give something you hold dearly and that is very precious to you?" Gu Chang'e didn't hesitate and took off the crystal jade pendant around his waist and gave it to her. "Oh well. This is my personal jade pendant, and I'm giving it to you." Wang Zijin received it with a smile, seemingly quite happy. "If I need something in the future, can I use this jade pendant to seek help from Brother Gu?" Gu Chang'e smiled and nodded. "Of course, you can." Yet he was also secretly laughing in his heart. Putting away the jade pendant, Zijin suddenly asked, "By the way, I heard that Brother Gu recently had contact with the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. What about it? What do you think?" Gu Chang'e's expression was natural as he lied. "I only saw the Emperor's daughter, Ingyu, but not the Emperor's son, Ing Xuan. Miss Ingyu is simple and straightforward, so she must be kept in the dark. I heard Prince Shuang also came to the Nanshengshan that day. I don't know why he had not been shown up. Could it be that he is the inheritor of the forbidden demonic arts and feels guilty?" She thought carefully and said, "So, Brother Gu came to me today to remind me that I have a way to making Shuang show up his demonic arts. When the time comes, we will give it a try." With a faint smile, he looked deep in thought before answering, "Oh?" As expected of Miss Zijin, "Then everything will be clear, whether it is true or false." The sky was covered in a gray shade, bleak clouds floated in the gloomy atmosphere, and the sun was shining. The mountains were erected tall and magnificent, in the vast terrain, yet it looked barren and lifeless. After days of traveling, people have arrived at the entrance of the Yin battlefield. Brother Yi Langtian, Yi Liuli, Miss Qi Ling and others had arrived. Yi Langtian spoke, "So this is the location Brother Gu sent us, and it is the entrance to the Yin battlefield." Miss Qi Ling wondered, "Where's Brother Gu? Did he already enter the battlefield early?" Yi Langtian looked at Ing Xuang, Ingyu, and Egu, their followers. many other ancient freaks who also arrived there. He wondered how they found this location. Ing Shuang laughed hysterically as he set foot on the Yin battlefield. Well done, Ing Yu. Now that the Yin battlefield has been found, it means that the quota for Jinshan Academy has also been obtained. However, Ing Yu thought, thanks to Mr. Gu for informing me regardless of previous encounter, I can't let my brother know that Gu sent me information about this location. Holding his hands back, Ing Shuang noticed there were some others who had arrived before them. The people from Yi Longtian's group started murmuring about its Heavenly Emperor Mountain, and others, that is. The Prince Ing Shuang, he came in person, one said. Another with a shocked expression said, sure enough, he is majestic and true pride of the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. Someone mumbled, I can't imagine how strong he must be after practicing in seclusion in the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. Wang Zijin and Gu Chang'e, who had been hidden secretly in the void, watched everything. Wang Zijin said with a slight smile, look, he can't stop himself from coming here. There's no reason not to come. Chang'e nodded and replied, Miss Zijin has a clever plan and made him show up at last. Ing Shuang sensed that there was a spiritual fluctuation in the space and yelled, it seems that someone arrived a long time before us, but hiding like cowards in the dark. Come on, show off your ugly faces. Yi Langtian, Miss Qiling, and others looked up with surprise and shock, wondered, what is going on here? Zijin, acting high and mighty in front of Gu Chang'e, said he could actually notice us, with such a powerful spiritual consciousness. No wonder he is worthy of being the inheritor of the forbidden demonic arts. Chang'e slightly bowed to her respectfully, and added, yeah, the Prince Shuang is well deserved. Then the rest of the things I leave to Miss Zijin. Wang Zijin pouted her lips, and said to Gu Chang'e, can't you be a little more gentleman? Asking a woman to take action is shameless, so you just want to simply stand and watch the scenes unfold. Even though there is no concrete evidence against Ing Shuang as the inheritor of the demonic arts, I would beat him up regardless. That was it. Wearing a light azure long dress, she exuded an unparalleled aura of a quasi-saint. Her flawless beauty and perfect body were like an immortal goddess descending from heaven. Hovering in the air, she looked down on all, for the first time, seeing her. Ing Shuang could not recognize her and came forward to introduce himself. I am the Emperor's son, Ing Shuang of Heavenly Emperor Mountain. I don't know if you are aware. Before he finished his words, Wang Zijin's figure disappeared in a wisp of blue smoke and landed before him. Ing Shuang, with a widening eyes and puzzled expression, but before he could finish his words, he was punched in the stomach by Wang Zijin, and immediately let out a muffled groan, flying through the air, and the sound of cracking bones could be heard clearly. Zijin shouted, what nonsense are you talking about? Ha ha ha, you imposter, you still continue to pretend? On the other hand, drops of cold sweat dripped from the faces of Gu Chang'e and others, and some of their jaws dropped. They had never thought Wang Zijin would attack the Prince of Heavenly Emperor Mountain just like that.